nå blir det lettere å se.
Bare orker ikke yeah, we try to like fix the camera the same way as you have, but it's impossible and we have some troubles with making that happen, so I hope this is fine. I just have a question. Hi. Har vi møtt det her? Ja. Okay, so we're gonna start our video link at 1 o'clock, right?
Yes, in 15 minutes.
In for 20 minutes, right?
20. Yeah, in 20.
Yeah, in 20.
Yeah, my clock is faster 5 minutes.
Okay, so we are just going to have a short introduction from our side before we start the video link.
Yes, okay.
Are you going to call us at 1 o'clock?
Yes, I think we are going to call you.
No, I think just like let it live right now. Or
yeah, and we can just turn up the sound when we.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it open. Yeah, sure. Okay. Great, nice, awesome.
Nice. Is that bottled water? is that water in plastic bottles?
Yeah. But it doesn't come from outside.
Okay. Yeah.
There's sort of a department for the protocol things within the university could do it without us.
Okay. Yeah, as long as you're prepared to defend the
Yeah, there's some plastic glass as well.
Okay, we are going to put you on mute now because our people will start coming. Okay.
Yes, good. We're going to do the same.
Just text us when you need it.
Sigurd, kaffe. Hei. Vær så god.
Tusen takk.
Jeg har noen en pinne som lager. Ja. Skal jeg lage mer kaffe enn jeg har? Det fra Sandslaget. Men problemet er at jeg kan liksom ikke Skal gjøre det? Ja, fordi hvis jeg har det
da kan jeg ikke bare få den.
Er det programmet som er oppdatert?
Dette er også.
Ja, det er faktisk. Kan jeg ta en?
Ja.
Nei, det er din, ok.
Jeg har egentlig ikke fått meg,
det kan ikke bare si på.
men det er egentlig godt å gjøre.
Anna Rose, det kommer.
Så det kan
Vi har bare en, men
vi bør printe den her gitt til alle som skal snakke. Kan noen gjøre det?
det kan jeg. Ja, nei, jeg vil ikke nå.
Eller, ja.
Jeg kan gjøre det.
Kan jeg få liksom skive litt på den, at jeg ikke står liksom. De må se på det jeg skal si. Nei, jeg skal bare på.
Vi må bare være litt forsiktige med akkurat den koblingen her, for den er litt ustø. Men det er ikke noe
Men kan vi ikke bare kjøre opp PowerPointen på den plassen, så kan du ha den der, og så kan de se den der, på en måte?
Jeg skal ikke gjøre noe ekstra for meg, men jeg må låne en penn hvis jeg skal få det på.
Du har en penn?
Nei, Ibba har min penn. Men hvis du trenger å se PowerPointen din, så kan vi plugge den på den PC-en her, lagre den der og lagre den her, og så kan hun få se den på den PC-en. Det blir vanskelig å se den på den PC-en og snakke. For da må den enten være åpen på PowerPointen eller være åpen på videofilen.
Ja, den som tolk Jasmin.
Ja, ok.
Evna Jasmin tolk, ja.
Men hvordan man ser ikke forlaget sitt, man ser den der da?
Nei, vi kan se det her.
Du ser det sånn, eller ser
Ja, vi kommer til å åpne det her, sånn at her...
Jeg kan ikke utenlands, så jeg må vite.
Nei da, men det er helt perfekt, det er ikke noe problem.
Nei, jeg låner den også.
Du har sånn Waze.
Det vi kan gjøre at PowerPointen vil stå her. Sånn, vi kan jo prøve slideshow. We can start. Sånn. Og så det viktig at alle som skal holde for at du står cirka her.
Hvor er kameraet?
Kameraet der.
Og det den?
Ikke det skal funke. Så du snakker til oss, og litt til dem også. Og så vil det bli oversatt fra deres side. Så vil presentasjonen med PowerPointen komme opp her, sånn at vi får se dine punkter. Og så vil det at du vil ikke se du vil bare se oss.
Må bare huske at kanskje kikke litt til kameraet.
Ja. Og så det på engelsk.
Ja da, det hadde jeg gjort.
Ja, supert.
Ja, nei, jeg litt sånn avhengig av, jeg klarer ikke liksom å være helt fri her.
Men bare kom og prøv. Jeg skal vise deg. Det rett og slett bare at du kommer til å stå her. Og så vi som fra Norge, vi sitter her. Og så vil PowerPointen din være der. Det vi egentlig burde ha en som kan klikke.
Ja, det ikke noe problem for meg å gjøre selv, altså.
Ja, så lenge man står cirka her, for kamera det som på min Mac.
På den?
Ikke den der.
Ja, så egentlig skal jeg prate.
Men du skal bare tenke at du skal prate til oss. De følger med, men du vil ikke se det. PowerPointen din vil komme opp her, på skjermen. Det egentlig mest et foredrag for oss, ikke sant? Og så vil det bli oversatt til russisk.
Har dere lyst på den? Der vil du ha den til å gå frem og tilbake?
Ja. Vet du hva? La meg bare sende.
Hei, tusen takk for at du kunne komme.
Jasmin har den. Ja, Anne.
Perfekt.
Hei. Sara, jeg får samskitt navn.
Har du tatt det på maskinen, eller?
Det skal jeg gjøre. Sånn. Kaffe, er det noe du har lyst på?
Ja, det går
Vann?
Ja, vi går på det. Kanskje det litt varme. Men fortell meg litt om opplegget her da.
Ja, nå har vi, kan jeg få...
Ja, ok. Men Ibe så går ikke den nå, så vi kommer på den til meg.
Ja, ok.
Jeg skal sende det til deg.
Vi har aldri hatt et webinar før, så dette blir veldig spennende å se.
Det Skype for Business du bruker?
Google Hangouts.
Ja.
Og det funker ganske bra. Sånn ser programmet ut som det nå. Og alle klar over at du må cirka halv tid til å ha. Jeg vil begynne å bare lære kort og si takk for at alle her. Og så vil vi starte en Skype-session med Russa, med Safo, som universitetet i Arkangelsk. Da vil Max være innleder og konferansier på russisk side, og på vår side også. Så vil da viserektoren på det universitetet holde sånn åpningstale og bare og så vil vi snu det over til deg, og så snakker vi 5 minutter om hva vi driver med, og liksom ikke egentlig noe mer enn det. Og så vil det da gå videre da på programmet.
Akkurat som Kristin Røyvågen da.
Det det som så det ikke et sånt, det skal ikke være et kjempestort seminar, men det egentlig mest for at jeg har vært på universitetet nå i påsken og snakket med disse engasjerte studentene, og de greier å ha på en måte akkurat det samme engasjementet som det vi har. De jobber både på universitetet og håper for å gjøre kildesortering ordentlig. De jobber i byen, og de veldig både i Remix og den waste management planten som de har i Arkangelsk. Deler ideer. Så det liksom, det som om Tromsø har flyttet til Russland, og vi jobber med akkurat det samme. Det derfor det så kult på dette samarbeidet. Og få prate ut kanskje helt ideer.
Du kommer... det sånn at vi snakker på engelsk, og så blir det oversatt, eller? For det ofte veldig med Russland.
Da har vi fått den her, så da kommer den bare til å ligge
som veldig flink.
Liksom her, bare legger den her nede. Og så har vi da videolinken, blir da her.
Ja, men hvordan viser det?
Nei, fordi du kommer ikke til å ha oppe videolinken, så vi bruker bare... Du får se den her. Du får se den her. Men det kanskje litt for smått.
Men du skal ikke se
Nei.
platene mine. Så
Jeg
må
bare
du vise...
Skal vi se.
Jeg tror det
Hvordan går man på sånn video?
Da var det åpnet av sånn oversatt russisk-engelsk. Og jeg følte at jeg fikk med meg alt. Jeg tok inn alle...
Hvordan åpner man sånn at den blir? Skal vi se.
Hva er det en internasjonal organisasjon? Jeg vet jo hva det her, men
Nå skal vi høre.
Hvordan er det inn på den her først?
Det litt sin smak. Det nasjonale organisasjoner med hovedkontor i Oslo. Så startet Inge Bjarke som var her, hun var med å starte lokallaget her i Tromsø for 25 år. Og så har vi egentlig bare blitt større og større. Og nå det ganske mange engasjerte studenter. Og så det veldig kult, synes jeg, at lokallaget her i Tromsø har blitt så stort, og vi gjør veldig mye.
ja, så bra.
Så det liksom kult å komme på sånne stormøter i Oslo og skrive litt av Norge, da, fordi det ganske lokalt og
Sånn,
Men du får ikke sett notater dine nå.
Nei, men jeg har dem, jeg har printet dem ut, så det kan klare jeg meg fint med.
Ja.
Men jeg har må...
Nei. Mindre de har engasjert forskjellig. Nei, men dette da leder i 15 år Henning. Vi har også lokallag her i Tromsø. Han også litt mye skriver.
Det veldig interessant.
Ja, fordi jeg har fått som en engasjert og for bærekraftsansvaret her.
Det du gjør at du går på læremaster.
Men kan ikke gjøre det.
Du kan veldig fint blande det inn i det går jo an å ha festing.
Er det ikke noen vis?
Ja, men ser du ikke her, det skjedde jo noe her.
Ja.
Så bare går ut og åpner den på nytt igjen, kanskje.
Ja, vi gjør det.
Bare kryss den ut, og så... Ja, nå.
Jeg aner ikke. Sånn, da var det tilbake til det.
Så sa hun på slideshow.
Kan du bare kopiere min foredrag fra USA? Jeg kan også la den stå der inne,
Ja.
med det som dere ønsker.
Ja, ja. Du kan bare la den stå der.
Ja.
Det er ikke noe problem.
Altså, det her helt... Men det for at det Mac da, må det jo være, fordi at... Set up slideshow. Presented by speaker. Ja, manually. Ok.
Kan du logge inn? Hei, hei! Kan du logge inn på den her? Ja.
Kanskje jeg skal logge? Det er så mye flinke folk her. Jeg liker ikke det heller.
Nei, vet du hva?
Men nå åpner vi den her også.
Det er så mye pynta folk. Nei.
Så jeg la meg historie.
Hvis jeg bare har noen som
Ja, men er det ditt telefonnummer som koblet opp til?
Nei, er du sikker av mamma sitt?
Slutta litt. Sammen til meg også.
Vet du hva, det her må noen faktisk bare hjelpe meg med. Nå klarer jeg ikke i det hele tatt å få den her opp.
Jeg skal se her. Og da har vi her denne takken.
Ja,
Så går du bare.
ja, det er mest så nært her. Hvordan har det der? Nei, men vet du hva, ta papirvisningen, for da kan jeg bare ha papiret her, for da er det bare for det her jeg må skifte slide, sant?
Men det er ikke så farlig om du bare er der, for ingen ser det, for folk vil bare se den der.
Ja.
Så hvis du bare har tingene dine her, så kan du bare... Og da klikker du, vil du klikke selv, eller vil du at jeg... Ja, så... Så da har vi ordnet den, da må vi ha denne. Nei, ikke din.
Da trenger jeg ikke å lete etter den i 2 minutter. Det er den, vent litt, Evma, den som vil med Evma her.
Den?
Ja.
Jeg må hilse.
Hvis du bare legger den sånn...
Legger den ned der,
Perfekt.
Og vet du hvordan du åpner den fullt? Vet du hvordan du åpner den fullt? Ja, ok. Sånn. Da ligger det hav. Hvor er Google-skyen vår? Her er det. Ok, da ligger begge to som har PowerPoint her nede. Du har PowerPoint, var det ikke det? Kan du også bare... Ja, kanskje du også skal bare legge inn PowerPoint. Nei, det vet ikke jeg. Men nå begynner vi om 4 minutter.
Never tell anyone else you know it up there. Especially not the Chinese.
Rebecca, hvor er resten av klassen? Hvor er resten av biologiklassen? Ja, er det mulig å ta det? Ja. For den boken fremdeles er nede nå, gjør den ikke det? Ja.
Skal vi bare stå i det, eller må jeg ta den inn og så ut igjen?
Nei, du kan bare ha den foran der inne, men bare åpne det, for det er mye lettere å få oversikt over det da.
Jeg kan ikke.
Nei, da skal jeg gjøre det.
Veldig godt.
Ja, den er også her. Hvor er den?
Skal jeg ta den?
Den? Der, da ligger den også der nede. Den er din. Skamskitten. Ok. Da er vi good. Da kan du mate ut din...
Da kan jeg ta den ut.
Nei, den blir ikke. Nå, den er ut. Kjøp, kjøp. Hallo! Hei! Kom igjen. Nå, vi har kontakt med Russland. Vi har... Håper vi kan klare det. Vil du forresten ha premien hos deg, for den står der borte nå. Så bare vi tar den med oss når vi går derfra.
Det er en slik som finnes, så jeg skal bare gå med deg.
Ja. Det går fint. Har du fått inn der flere?
Du, det skal jeg fortelle alt om. Akkurat nå så må jeg gå hente ordfører. Ja, jeg trenger egentlig det. Hæ? Den tiden ferdig. Ja, det ble jo gode 2 uker. Vi skal ikke sitte inn.
Kan vi henge på alt det?
Er det godt at du er en av disse?
Og kaffe, hvis dere har husket samme kall.
Den er ligger igjen, sånn.
Hva ser vi?
Hvordan er det sånn?
Vi trenger en lader. Helst litt fort. Men hvordan er det? Oi, sant. Nå vil jeg ikke at de skal stå og se på meg da. Men det er greit. Men jeg vet ikke hvorfor den ikke blir på.
Nei, men da får det bare være sånn.
Hey. So we have all come. Are you ready to start?
Det er helt musikk. Skal vi ta oss med snutt?
Да. Сейчас я слышу. Окей. Здравствуйте. Сейчас нам коллеги сообщают, что буквально через минутку они будут готовы с нами начать разговор. Я хотел представиться, меня зовут Максим Марченков, я заместитель председателя студенческого объединения университета. Елена, председатель этого объединения. Мы вместе этот вебинар и дождемся, когда наши коллеги смогут с нами связаться. В программе, в принципе, примерно указана последовательность. Я попросил всех примерно придерживаться тайминга, поскольку достаточно мало количества времени, кому-то придется скорее. С той стороны, вы можете посмотреть, среди прочих бумаг есть некая резолюция вебинара, и мы готовы услышать ваше предложение по ее поводу. Это не обязывающий какой-то документ, это скорее так, декларация о намерениях. Это можно было бы сделать совместно и университетом, и муниципальным образованием, и студенческим организациям. Вот, ну, собственно, обсуждение этого документа, намерений, мы планируем в самом конце. Отлично. И скоро мы сейчас начнем. Получается, сначала я скажу несколько слов, представлю всех с нашей стороны, они представят их с их стороны, и, получается, Алексей Анатольевич будет.
Давайте начинаем.
Да. Что вы думаете? Так, ну у них, значит, все почти подошли, кроме Абгара. Главное, их подойдет чуть-чуть в процессе, Hi. Amanda, do you think we can start?
Først og fremst så vil jeg bare si tusen takk til alle som har kommet hit. Det råkult at vi sitter her med representanter fra universitetet. Veldig interessert i møte. Dette et webinar som skal egentlig bare gå ut på å dele ideer med statsråd som de har sine representanter klare, og vi skal ha andre foredrag om hva universitetet driver med, hvordan kommunen arbeider, hvordan Barents arbeider. Jeg er klar over at noen må gå litt tidlig, men de som vil kan gjerne bli igjen til slutten og diskutere og være med på en liten debatt. Ja. Så da skal vi egentlig bare begynne. Det vil være en konferansier fra russisk side som vil kjøre oss litt gjennom det. Så skal jeg introdusere de som skal snakke fra vår side. Yes.
Нет, просто сейчас они...
We can hear you now. We are ready.
Fine. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthias, and I act as deputy for the Student Association Echo University at Northern Arctic University in Arkansas. Dear Mayor, representatives of Mayor's office, Rector, First Vice Rector, representatives of waste operating companies and public organizations, professors, students, and dear colleagues, on behalf of Student Association Echo University and Association of Green Universities of Russia, let me welcome you and thank you for coming to our webinar and you're willing to discuss such an important issue as waste management and how these systems are operated in the cities of Tromsø and Arkhangelsk. I'm very glad that such an important issue had gathered so many people from many sides. It means that our discussion will have various opinions. And let me first introduce the speakers from the Russian side, who are Alexey Korshunov, First Vice Rector of Northern Arctic Federal University, Danil Shaposhnikov, Deputy Head of Municipality of Arkhangelsk for Economic Development and Finances, Valentina Leontieva, who is Environmental Engineer at Arkhangelsk Waste Recycling Plant, Dmitry Nesterov, who is Russian Coordinator for Separate Collection of Waste from Greenpeace Russia, and Mariana Vitasari, who is the Head of Student Association Echo University, and Anastasia Sajenova, representative of Norwegian Barents Secretariat in Arkhangelsk. So thanks for coming, all of you. And now I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Amanda Günther. So please. You're mute, unfortunately.
You are mute. Unmute, please.
Oops.
Fine. Okay. Yes. All right, sorry, we'll try again. We have our web camera placed a little bit different than yours, but you'll see all the speakers when they come up to hold their presentations. We have our principal of UIT, university here, Anne Husbeck, she's present. Then we have, we're very happy to have our mayor, Kristin Reimo, has also come to join us. Then we have Jasmine Narang, professor of the Department of Arctic Biology here. And we have Atle from Remix, he will also talk. And also Sara Reidvodal from Samskipnaden. So you'll see them when they come up to hold their presentation. All right, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. So let us first start with the introduction from Alexey Korshunov, who's the First Vice Rector of Northern Arctic Federal University. So, please.
Okay, dear colleagues, dear participants, I am very happy to greet you on behalf of Lomonosov Northern Arctic Federal University. We greatly appreciate the opportunity to meet you all and to contribute to a discussion of the contemporary issues related to waste management systems. It's a special honor to welcome the representatives of the administration of the twin cities of Arkhangelsk and Tromsø, our estimated colleagues and longtime friends for the Arctic University of Norway, as well as the members of business community, experts, and students, of course. The year 2018 marks the 25th anniversary of cooperation between NARFU and the University of Tromsø. Throughout our long cooperation history, we have been able to accumulate considerable experience of successful collaboration in a wide variety of formats, such as academic mobility, joint research, international projects, and joint events. Within our partnership, environmental issues have always remained in focus. The problems of ecology have not in the least lost their relevance. It's indeed a big challenge we all are facing, regardless of borders and differences. The problems are especially important for our young people, and today they are willing to share their views on the particular aspects of multilateral issue, the problem of efficient waste management. In this context, we are very pleased to stress that our students were the driving force behind the webinar. Their partner universities are proud to be home to students associations working in the field of ecology, such as Eco University at NARFU and SPIRE at Arctic University of Norway. Environmental problems strongly resonate with our young people, and joint events such as this one further spark their enthusiasm and willingness to contribute to the preservation of our common natural heritage. We wish you an interesting and fruitful discussion and new projects for the benefit of our communities. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alexei. And now I think we can switch to the rector of Arctic University of Norway, University of Tromsø, Anna Husebekk, who is present.
Yep. Here she is.
Hi.
There's the cover.
The camera's
Oh, I won't address you. So, welcome to this webinar. I'm impressed that the students take the initiative to such an event and that they can use modern technology so that we don't have to fly all the way from Tromsø to Arkhangelsk every time we want to see each other. It is also very nice to have enthusiastic students, and they remind us on our responsibility for the whole world. We have just made justification to our strategy, and in this justification, we just added that our priority in this university is based on this Sustainable Development Goals from UN, the 17 goals, and we want to look at each of these goals and measure whether we apply to the goals and what we can do to do that in a better manner. When it comes to the university here, of course, we want to we do the waste management in a very good way. We want to apply to other goals that means an environmental perspective. And since we live in the far north, we have a particular responsibility because a lot of waste, a lot of pollution coming from other parts of the world end up where we live. And we want to give the globe, the world, to the future generation in the best possible way. What have we done at the university? I mean, when it comes to waste management, the students have reminded us that we still have a way to go. And that has made the leadership and management of the university to look at waste management again. Of course, there are two levels of waste management. A lot of goods come into the university and the waste is taken well care of. The waste that is produced by each individual in the areas of the university is not well enough taken care of at the moment. But we have a plan, and I want to see that this plan is implemented within the end of this year. But there are, of course, other things too. Living in the far north, I think you and we experience that we have to fly a lot. We use a lot of flights to see each other, to reach the central government of Russia and Norway. And if I look at my life, it is not a very environmental friendly life that I live, I have to admit that. So the use of meetings like this helps and will help in the future. And we have also to encourage our government to use this sort of electronic meetings when they now invite us for an hour's meeting in Oslo. This is waste of time and it is waste of CO2. Also, as a rector, I will encourage projects that are related to environment and environment-friendly future. I think that will be illustrated later on in this webinar. And for the students, I think that when they stay at the university, they will, as part of their upbringing, also be exposed for thoughts and plans that makes them bring sustainability and an approach to environment that they will have all their life from the part of the life that they're studying in Tromsø. We are not there yet, but as part of a plan, we would like to see all new students in the beginning of next semester and expose them for the thoughts in the UN sustainability goals and inspire them to think sustainability and environment-friendly solutions in the rest of their lives. So hopefully we can do something together, and I'm sure we can. So I end up by this and hope that this discussion will be the beginning of a common plan for a better solution for waste management, but all other approaches to the sustainability goals. Thank you.
Good to see you back. Since last time we met was at Arctic Frontier Students Forum in Tromsø in January. So now I'd like to give the floor to Daniil Shaposhnikov, who is Deputy Head of Municipality of Archangel for Economic Development and Finances. So please, with your welcome remarks.
Good afternoon. My English is not so well, so I will speak in Russian. Уважаемые коллеги,
Dear colleagues,
я рад приветствовать вас на семинаре, посвященном теме управления отходами.
I'm very happy to welcome you at our seminar dedicated to waste management issues.
Обеспечение экологической безопасности является одним из приоритетов для органов власти в нашей стране.
Environmental security is one of the priorities for the authorities in our country.
Поэтому администрация города, безусловно, заинтересована в проведении таких мероприятий, которые дают возможность обсудить текущие экологические проблемы, обменяться успешными практиками управления отходами, установить партнерские связи между представителями органов власти, мусороперерабатывающими предприятиями и университетами в сфере управления отходами.
That's why city administration is, of course, very much appreciates such opportunities as this one, which gives us an opportunity to discuss various waste management related issues, to exchange best practices, establish contacts and partnerships between businesses, universities and authorities in the sphere of environmental management and waste management.
Архангельск активно сотрудничает в этом направлении со всеми партнерами в нашем Баренц-Евроарктическом регионе или в Арктическом регионе.
Archangels very actively cooperates with our partners within the Barents-Евроarctic region.
В частности, нам интересен опыт таких крупных арктических городов, как Оулу и Тромсё в сферах водоочистки и утилизации бытовых отходов.
In particular, we are very much interested in the experience of, for example, Oulu and Tromsø, their practices of waste disposal and water clearance.
Так, совместно с финскими партнерами из Оулу нами уже был реализован пилотный проект по раздельному сбору отходов.
Together with our Finnish partners, we have already implemented a pilot project dedicated to separate waste collection.
Теперь этот проект распространяется у нас на весь город.
And now this project has been expanded to the whole of our city.
Хочется поблагодарить руководство нашего Северно-Арктического федерального университета и Арктического университета Норвегии за организацию данного семинара.
We would like to express our gratitude to Northern Arctic Federal University Administration and the administration of the Arctic University of Norway for this opportunity and for organizing this webinar.
Ведь сотрудничество между арктическими университетами как раз и послужило фундаментом для установления побратимских связей между городами Тромсё и Архангельск в 2011 году.
And the cooperation between the two universities gave rise and was the source of and foundation for the establishment of long-standing partnership in 2018.
Наш Северно-Арктический федеральный университет один из самых надежных партнеров для администрации города.
And our university, Northern Arctic Federal University, is one of the most reliable partners for the city administration.
И как раз при участии коллег нами была разработана стратегия социально-экономического развития города Архангельска до 2030 года.
And together with our colleagues from the university, we have been able to develop a strategy of social development for the region up until 2030.
В стратегии определены наиболее острые проблемы по обеспечению экологической безопасности в городе, одной из которых является значительный объем образующихся и накопленных твердых бытовых отходов, производства и потребления на территории города.
Among other issues, the strategy discusses various ecological safety problems, and one of the key problems in this respect is, of course, generation of a lot of waste and the ways we can counteract this problem.
Размещение отходов выводит из оборота значительной площади земель, а также загрязняет их.
Placement of waste adds to pollution of various lands and territories and also makes them unavailable for other kinds of use.
Поэтому сегодня в городе мы активно работаем над решением проблемы обращения с отходами производства и потребления, которое должно базироваться на уменьшении количества отходов, внедрении малоотходных технологий, создании индустриальной базы переработки отходов, сокращении полигонного захоронения, а также вторичного использования переработанных отходов.
That's why one of our key points of interest and the issue we are most focused on developing is, of course, different ways that lead to reduction of waste from consumerism, industrial waste, and different ways we can reuse and recycle this waste, and also to decrease the generation of waste itself.
В частности, нашей стратегии сегодня определены такие мероприятия.
And we have established a plan which includes the following key events.
Это ликвидация несанкционированных свалок на территории города.
It's the liquidation of illegal landfills in the territory of the city.
Рекультивация земельных участков из-под отходов.
Recultivation of areas.
И создание и развитие производств по комплексной переработке твердых бытовых отходов.
And development of different technologies and plans for recycling of solid waste.
При этом мы ставим себе амбициозную задачу уже к 2030 году достичь 98% переработки всех отходов.
And our ambitious goal is, which we plan to achieve by 2030, is to be able to recycle 98% of the waste.
Ну и если говорить еще о цифрах, то вот за последние годы мы ликвидировали более 30 свалок на территории города.
For the last several years, we've been able to liquidate 30% of landfills in the city.
Сегодня у нас создается эффективная система учета и контроля поступающих на свалку твердых бытовых отходов. Приобретено современное оборудование, внедряется новая система контроля.
And now we have been introducing various technologies for registering solid waste.
Ну, по сути, сегодня мы создаем умную экономику города, и это является одной из наших стратегических целей.
Today we are creating smart economy of the city, and it's one of our strategic goals.
Поэтому, конечно, нам интересен опыт других городов, которые в том числе находятся в арктической зоне.
That's why we are very interested in the experience of other cities located in the Arctic zone.
Поэтому, дорогие друзья, я думаю, что сегодня вот у нас состоится конструктивный диалог.
So, dear friends, I hope for a fruitful discussion today.
И мы обменяемся лучшими практиками управления.
And we will be able to exchange the best practices of waste management.
Спасибо за внимание.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And I think we're now switching and giving the floor to the mayor of Tromsø, Christine Roimo.
Yes, we just need to find presentation.
Wonderful.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Good afternoon.
Hi, do you see me?
Yes.
Now it's easier. So, dearest friends of the globe, friends of Tromsø and Arkhangelsk and the sister city cooperation that is actually established between the cities, and dearest deputy head of the municipality, please also give, whenever you have the chance, my very warmest best to Mayor Igor Godic. It was a pleasure for me to host him as he was visiting Tromsø January this year. So, I am very glad that there is an initiative like this, organizing a platform for exchange of successful waste management practices between all the parties that needs to cooperate in order to do so. Because the so-called, and in this sense, actually the so-called modern world is actually not sustainable, and this is the fact. So we need to do something. The way that we, the people of the world, that means not only those people living in Norway or Russia or the other places around, for instance, the 10 biggest rivers that is producing the most of the plastic waste that is now actually a part of our global oceans, but actually every citizen of the world. We need to change. And the only way to do so is to cooperate, and to cooperate in new ways for the future than we have done in the past. And when we know that within the next 30 years, if we don't change, there will be more plastic in the oceans than fish, then we know we have a big challenge. And we know that we, people above the 40s, people below the 40s, people who are so small, they are not even capable of speaking yet, we need to do the job. This is what I believe. There is only one way to do so, and that is to work together with the best practices of every time, of every day best practices. Tromsø has taken on the new initiative of being a plastic-free city. How will we be able to be a plastic-free city? My brain, since I am taking this huge challenge, my brain is aching every day because I am a part of a system. I go to the store, I buy the groceries that I need in order to survive every day because I need to eat. And it's not possible for me to do so without being a part of a production line using garbage. So we need to reduce, we need to recycle, and we need to use again, to reuse.
So the society and the principles that we are basing the lives of 2018 have to change. And I know, because my heart is growing when initiatives like this is taking place. I know that I am not alone. The students of the University of Tromsø is not alone. The peoples of our Congress are not alone. The peoples of the world have the possibilities. Of course, also by using technology like this. The last time I visited Arkhangelsk, I used the footprints of the world in order to visit you. And we need to keep on visiting. But being able to meet like this online to discuss the biggest problem of the world of today is just marvelous. So I am thanking you for this. And as the mayor of Tromsø, being the sister city of Arkhangelsk, I will do everything that I can in order to strengthening these initiatives and other initiatives. Thank you for your attention and good luck on the work that you are going into now.
Thank you for the wonderful and inspiring speech, Christine. And I think we are switching to the next speaker, who's Jasmine Nargan, right?
Yes, she will be here.
So we get to listen to her.
And then we will find her presentation. The other one. Oh, there one. And just do this. Would you like a copy of the screen, or do you want to see the speaker?
I think we would like to see the PowerPoint.
The PowerPoint. All right, sure. Then we just.
The screen behind you is a little blurry. Yeah.
This. Oh, yeah. Can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Yes. All right. And then we need. Ja, nå funker ikke den her i stad. Det er for. Hvilket er det? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me today. I'm Jasmine Nargan. I'm associate professor at the Faculty of Biology, Biosciences, Fishes and Economics at the University of Tromsø. And I am actually a researcher in ecotoxicology, which is maybe in a more simple way, pollution biology, what we call it. And today I want just to give you a very, very short talk about my experience working as a scientist in a big project, which is called the Environmental Waste Management Project. This is a project which was divided into two parts. If I come a little bit back first, it was a very big project from 2010 to 2018, so almost 10 years, which was focusing only on waste management. And it was funded by the Research Council of Norway and by Norway, which is an oil company. So this project was divided in two phases. The first phase, from 2010 to 2014, was really concentrated on research and research around waste management. We had a lot of different work packages. I was a postdoc at that time. I was not a researcher yet, working as a researcher on the work package 1, which was dealing with the impact of petroleum, the petroleum industry in Arctic marine environments. And so maybe you can consider the waste as pollution of garbage, but I see it in a broader sense. Actually, waste is also pollutants, and the pollutants which come from actually the waste as well. So in this project, we had very big diversity of different pollutant types that we were looking at, both the impacts, but also the technologies to actually manage this waste in a better way. So the second work package, for example, was also related to petroleum industry and the effect of drill cuttings and the deposition on the seafloor. We had a work package on mobile electrochemical remediation, which is technologies how to remove actually certain type of metals from the sediment floor in the seas. There was a work package on capping technology. It's a very broad subject. We had also a work package on the methodological guidelines for development of best practices for participatory industrial waste management in Arctic and subarctic. I'm not finished. We have work package 6 on weathering rates of pollutants and use of drilling fluids as molecular indicators in the Arctic. A 7th work package on the separation and treatment of pollution, and an 8th one on the framework for risk-based analysis. So it was this first phase was really broad, with many different pollutants and different approaches, looking at the effects of pollutants and also trying to study new technologies and develop new technologies for dealing with this waste. I have been only working on the first work package on the impacts of the oil, so I cannot say so much on all the results from this different work package. But I have been more involved in the second phase of EVMA. And the second phase, which is an as important and maybe even better part of this project, which lasted until last year in December 2017, was the end of this project. We had 3 main pillars. The research was continued. Then we had education, which was something that was pretty new. We wanted to create new courses, a new study program, and basically recruit more students to study waste management and pollutants. And the third pillar was networking, and basically having a communication with the industry and the researchers to find better solutions. So if I just resume very briefly, the research was reduced to few aspects. We focused on operational and industrial waste, mainly from the mining industry and from the oil industry. So that was the research was dealing with the effects of these 2 types of waste. And on education, this is where I have been most involved and where my postdoc became a permanent position. So I became a researcher from this EVMA project. It was a very nice thing for me. We developed an educational work package where we basically started a new study program and new courses within pollution biology. And finally, I talked about the networking. We had something that was called EVMA Dialogues, where we created workshops to have the industry and the researchers meeting together and discussing challenges of today around the oil industry, around the mining industry, and trying to find solutions and what kind of topics of research need to be further developed to find answers to our problems. So just very briefly, I will talk about the education part and what we have been doing in the last 4 or 5 years at the University of Tromsø, and especially in my faculty, DFE. Just going to summarize some main learning goals that we really try to fulfill every single year when we recruit students. It's to combine theoretical knowledge and practical skills. The practical skills in the field of biology and pollution biology is really important. If you want to have students that are basically able to find jobs and be helpful on the job market, they need to have practical skills. So the theory is really important, but they also need to have these practical aspects. And the second thing, which we have as a main learning goals at our faculty, is to have a broad knowledge, not only about pollution, but also about ecology, the understanding of the environment, and how the organisms are functioning, how they are answering or reacting to the environment, how they interact with each other, and how they are impacted by pollutants and pollution in general. Pollution can also be seen as climate pollution, ocean acidification. So it's a very broad topic. It can be increased to many different aspects. Within the pollution biology work that we have been doing on the teaching, we have 3 learning goals. The first one is related to knowledge, giving a strong knowledge and broad theoretical competence to our students within pollution biology. We have the skill aspect, which I already mentioned, which is giving a good practical competence to answer the demands of the job market, and in the end, giving a general competence to the students, the ability to adapt to new situations, and not just to study one single thing. Yes?
You only have 1 minute left. You can only talk for 1 minute left.
I'm finished. I'm almost finished. So I'm just going to go through. This is all the different sub-goals that we have, but I don't need to go through all of them. I wanted to talk very shortly about 3 courses that we have. We have one that is with ecotoxicology, where we have at the bachelor levels this theoretical background and this practical work that is put into action. We have an internship course, which basically takes the students out of academia and into the companies outside the university, to learn really how the world is functioning outside research, outside the courses. And we have a course at the University of Svalbard, which is about petroleum, and that is multidisciplinary with many different aspects: geology, remote sensing, biology, chemistry, everything that you need to know around oil pollution. And this is a course where we have many Russian students coming, and it would be very nice if we had more students from Russia coming to this course, because it's intensive, it's 5 weeks, so it's very easy to actually take the time and travel to Svalbard to take these courses. So I can just stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we now please see you instead of the screen? We see us. Anyway, I think now we're giving the floor to Valentina Leontieva, who's a representative, who is an ecological engineer at Arkhangelsk waste recycling plant. So I'm going to switch the camera to her.
Okay.
So, можно на экран? Я не вижу, куда направлять камеру. Отключи пока шире.
I'm not sure what's going on now. Okay.
So I think we can start.
С ноября 2014 года Архангельский мусороперерабатывающий комбинат запустил программу по раздельному сбору отходов. Отходы макулатуры, бумага и картон, пластик, стеклянная и алюминиевая тара.
Since November 2014, Arkhangelsk Waste Processing Plant has been implementing a separate waste collection program encompassing the collection of trash paper and cardboard, plastic, glass, and aluminium.
Таким образом, часть городского мусора проходит первичную сортировку, что уменьшает конечный объем отходов, вывозимых на городскую свалку, улучшая тем самым общую экологическую обстановку в городе.
Therefore, part of the city waste undergoes preliminary sorting, which decreases the final volume of waste transported to the landfill, improving the ecological situation in the city.
Основными этапами развития раздельного сбора отходов стали внедрение и развитие раздельного сбора на территории Архангельска в 2014-2017 годах, затем внедрение раздельного сбора на территории Новодвинска в 2017 году и модернизация контейнеров по раздельному сбору из 2 в 1.
So the key stages of separate waste collection are the following. The first one, introduction and development of separate waste collection in Arkhangelsk. The second one, introduction and development of separate waste collection in Novodvinsk. And the third one is modernization of separate waste containers based on the principle of 2-in-1 convergence.
На сегодняшний день Архангельский мусороперерабатывающий комбинат установил 183 сине-желтых контейнера для раздельного сбора в Архангельске и 66 контейнеров в Новодвинске.
And today, the Arkhangelsk waste processing plant has mounted 193 blue and yellow separate waste collection containers in Arkhangelsk and 66 in Novodvinsk.
Комбинат для реализации программы осуществляет полный комплекс работ от распространения листовок по раздельному сбору до полного благоустройства контейнерной площадки, а именно ее бетонирование, установка ограждений и самого сине-желтого контейнера.
In the framework of the program, the plant has been carrying out a complex of activities, including distribution of leaflets and improvement of container yards. It has their concreting, installation of fences, and containers themselves.
Весь комплекс работы осуществляется абсолютно бесплатно за счет средств комбината.
The whole amount of work is performed free of charge and at the expense of the plant itself.
Комбинат ежегодно вкладывает в реализацию программы более 2 миллионов рублей.
And the plant annually invests over 2 million rubles into the program's implementation.
Все контейнеры для раздельного сбора отходов находятся в свободном доступе для населения, а также их местоположения нанесены на интернет-порталах Recycle.Map и Tudis.
All the containers are freely available to the public, and you can find out about their location on the web pages recyclemap.ru and tudis.ru.
Количество раздельно собранных отходов в Архангельске за 2014 год с ноября 21 тонна, в 2015 году 141 тонна, в 2016 254 тонн вторсырья и в 2017 году 660 тонн.
The total amount of separately collected waste in Arkhangelsk in 2014 was 21 tons. In 2015, 141. In 2016, 254. And in 2017, 660 tons.
По нашему мнению, основными достижениями Архангельского мусороперерабатывающего комбината, связанных с программой раздельного сбора, являются увеличение объема вывезенного вторсырья, снижение загруженности полигона города Архангельска и приобщение к программе города Новодвинск.
So we deem our key achievements the following ones. The first is the increase in the amount of removed and disposed waste. The second, the reduction of the workload of the city landfill, and introduction of the program in Novodvinsk.
Архангельский мусороперерабатывающий комбинат в дальнейшем планирует установку контейнеров с раздельным сбором на островных территориях, например, остров Соловки.
The Arkhangelsk waste processing plant also plans on mounting the separate waste collection containers on the island territories, such as the Solovetsky archipelago. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks for your presentation, Valentina. And I think the next speaker with a PowerPoint, hopefully, is Alte Vasmut Robertson, who is a business developer for waste operating company Remix in Tromsø. Amanda, we can't hear you yet.
Now you can hear us, right?
Yes.
Здравствуйте, добрый день. Привет. Как дела?
Wonderful.
As some of you may know, I was in Arkhangelsk in December last year and had a speech, which I have a PowerPoint. I don't want to run through it today. It's about a 10-minute PowerPoint. It takes 1 hour to perform. So we were 2 people from Remix invited by the Norwegian Directorate of Environment, and there was a good conference in Arkhangelsk where we spent 2 days and said a lot of the things that I wanted to share with you today. I agree with the girls from Spira that we will send you the presentation afterwards. The mayor, however, in Arkhangelsk has this presentation. We sent them to him prior to his visit to see us after he was at the town hall. And you should also know that Kristin Røymo is my boss. So I agree with everything that she said prior to this presentation. I would like to share with you, I will divide in three items. First of all, a little bit about the background on which we all seem to agree. The UN Nations environmental issues have said that the climate change and the pollution, especially marine pollution, but of course, as you live in Russia, you know a lot about earth pollution, not on sea, but on land. And I learned when I was in Arkhangelsk that you don't separate waste too much, but you have 33 landfills. Hooray! Beware of that. That's dangerous. My background is so severe that when I have this presentation, I usually go to the extreme to cite Barack Obama. When Barack Obama was running for another period for the presidency of the United States, he was, as you know, running against Donald Trump. And Barack Obama said about Donald Trump and his campaign. And when I show 2 pictures, you will get on the PowerPoint presentation later, you will understand what I meant. When you see the picture of the climate change and the marine pollution. And Barack Obama said, and I borrow his words in this concept together with you, this is not entertainment. This is not a reality show. This is very, very severe. We have a researcher here at the university, Gavin Gabrielsen, who knows a lot more than most people about what happens to the plastic in the ocean. That's very, very full language. That's a scary movie. You don't like to see it. You will be in very bad mood when you see those pictures and those movies and those comments. There's a global challenge, and Anna said something about there are more metals and minerals in products today than it's left in the earth. If we continue that pattern of behavior, we need 2 globes, 2 Earths by 2030. Do you know which year it is this year? Yes? It's not a long time. Second part of what I wanted to share with you is how we sort waste on the private sector here in Tromsø. Tromsø, as you know, is a very small town in a very small country called Norway. It's approximately 80,000 people in Tromsø. It cannot be compared to Arkangelsk. You have much bigger challenges, but then I can speculate. I think you have less waste per capita than we have in Norway in general and in Tromsø too. But the business in Tromsø on the private sector is set up with 1 bin. First of all, I would say it's 80,000 people here, but it means that the company who runs the business on the private household waste management, they have approximately 38,000 clients. And any company who have 38,000 clients could be a rich company. But this company, owned by Christian Ramo, is not allowed to make profit. But the sorting system is, each client sort the waste on their household basis in 5 different fractions. So the client do a lot of the job. The client himself does it in the first step. They sort the waste back home and they put it, and that is the point when it comes to economy, in 1 bin per household. And then our trucks, which I used to refer to them as one-armed bandit, because they are operated by 1 driver. There's a mechanical arm that picks up the bin and empties into the car, put it back in place. And the drivers today can take up to 1,000 bins per day, each driver. And this is what we showed Igor Godic when he was in Tromsø. So he knows this very well. I hope that he will be able to develop something in Arkangelsk which is a bit like this. In addition to the fact that the company empties all the bins on a weekly basis, we also have everything is big in the US. We heard that phrase. So it's not also big in Tromsø. But by Tromsø comparison, we have a retour or recycle station where the people that the garbage that they are not able to put into the bin, either it's a sofa or a bed or a lamp or an old PC, they won't get it into a plastic bag, which they sort in 4 or 5 different colors. And those are, when you get back into Remix, they are read by optical systems and sorted optically. It's very effective. And in addition to that, we also have places around Tromsø, approximately 35, I think, where consumers can put glass and metals into a container, and then they will empty it every time it gets full. In addition to the larger quantities and the larger entities that consumers want to get rid of, together with hazardous waste, they have to go to the central station of Remix to get rid of that. So that's a very, very short description on how we try to do it on the household basis. One of the challenges which I find quite similar to Arkangelsk in northern Norway is that distances are huge. The big difference, I think, from my point of view, and I don't want to offend you, is that we have laws and regulations that regulate waste management business. In addition to that, we have fairly good roads in the whole of northern Norway. And that, I understand, is a challenge in Russia. And those 2 things separates us to a large extent. So I think it's important. What I learned in Arkangelsk last year was that there's a lot of hard work trying to put forward and get the new laws and restrictions and formal regulations around waste management. At the end, I will have a few comments on processing and money making. Despite the fact that, from my point of view, these services are paid at a fairly low cost, we are able to make a profit. It means that the household waste and the corporate waste that we gather in our area are sold to our sister company, Remix Production, and their task is to optimize the value of that flow of goods. It means that we are trying to do something with it here in Tromsø, instead of just shipping it out. So we gather it here, and we try to gather from other companies around us in Northern Norway to increase the volume, and to increase the value, we hope, by negotiations to get the price better. Finally, from the conference in Arkhangelsk, I would do as the lady who led the conference said at the end. It touched her heart, and she said, it's all fine with laws and regulations and technique and processes and methodology to help the world from going under on an environmental issue and pollution issue. But it's all a question about attitude. It all starts here in your heart. If you don't have that idea of how each of you, can help the environment, it will be a waste of time. So with the close relationship that Remix has with the university here in Tromsø, with a signed agreement with Anne Husebekk, where we work and interact, it's fantastic to be invited here by Spire. We also work with another student organization called START, and we spend quite some time at the university. First of all, that is where the competence is coming from, and secondly, we need that research and investigation to come up with better solutions. So that's all I wanted to say for now. We will send you the presentation. You may see some of that, and maybe, if I'm lucky, you will recall some of it. Thank you very much. Das Vidania.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Yeah, thanks for sharing your presentation. Hopefully, we'll spread it through the participants of the webinar. And I think our next speaker with his expert opinion is Dmitry Nesterov, who is Russian coordinator for separate waste collection for Greenpeace Russia.
Hello, everybody. I switch off the PowerPoint presentation and start to talk a little bit. Now I'm a coordinator of the federal project Ban the Bag, because one regular will work mostly with a sorting system. I mean, separate waste collection. Now more we work with the topic of prevention of waste generation. Okay, I have 10 minutes. Yes. Okay. About project, I don't want to repeat the same information which told my colleagues from Arkhangelsk recycling plant, but some main traits. That's the first project which will start in Arkhangelsk in 2005 year. It works only 1 year and then it's closed, and it was a common project with the administration of Oulu city. And 2014 we have a big educational forum with employees from Arkhangelsk regional waste, from local government, and we discuss how we can start the common project, how we can start business common project where is a business and local authorities, local activists can promote this project. And mostly you see the first photo, it's after 2 weeks when we finished the forum in Arkhangelsk in three public places. I mean, mostly in a waste square. I mean, a place where, as you can see, the containers for waste. Arkhangelsk recycling plant install 3 containers, but it's 6 containers because it's the beginning of this project. They install 2 containers, 1 yellow and 1 blue. if you see blue for paper and yellow for plastic, glass, and aluminium. But later, because people all the time and mass media asked why we divided waste flow. I mean, in one container we put paper and other recycled waste in other container. Why only one garbage truck put all of this recycled waste? I think it's a good question, because mostly the situation was happened in every regions, in every cities, and the administration of the plant decided to install one container like this one, because it's more easy and it's not necessarily a lot of space for this container. About role of activists, mostly the former Youth Environmental NGO, which called ETHOS. Now it's a Public Movement 42, it's called. And we start to make different activities which can we involve the attention of local population, local mass media, local government, regional government, and start to organize some these events. I work in Arkhangelsk in close 3 years. I work in like a manager of this project in Youth Environmental NGO ETHOS. And we organize different events. It may be like a free market where people can stay different clothes, books, and other stuff. It's like a crossing, when you can cross books, clothes. And we organize a separate waste collection when people can hand over the recycled waste and get a coupons which we can use for maybe took different books, took clothes, took other things, maybe some kind of sculptures. You see on the pictures some events. In 4 years, maybe more, in 5 years, we ETHOS and Public Movement 42 organized more than 100 activities different. Mostly it's a cleaning of beaches, cleaning of public places. It's recycle championship, which called Eco Battle. Eco Battle is very famous project. It was starting from 2013, 2012. Sorry, 2012, and this story will continue. And the main idea that we opened some places, open places for people on weekends, and people can hand over paper, plastic, and maybe batteries. 1 year ago, now it's unreal because it's necessary to get a license to collect the batteries and other hazardous waste. That's why now we don't do it. And it's really very popular event. We organize a different press tour for mass media, for bloggers. I think approximately 7 press tours for journalists, for bloggers, because it's very important to show that the process of sorting, the process of recycling is very clear, very transparency, because Russian people really never believe. And always you need to show that the system is working, and that's really want to decide the problem, the waste problem with municipal solid waste in Russia, because now it's really huge problem. Also different eco lessons, different again cleanup with the local government, with the local activists. And some words about the map, Recycle Map. It's a project of Greenpeace Russia, which was started in 2011. Now more than 40 cities was located on this map. It's a national map, and it's a voluntary project. And every cities, if they want to open the map in there, only necessary to collect the addresses of the separate waste collection and send it and how is it located on the map, and this all. It's really very easy. And Arkhangelsk also now on this map. and also on Tugis. There is some information materials which we preparing for our public activities, and also we made the common information materials with the Arkhangelsk recycling plant. It looks a little bit different, but the main idea and the information is was the same. Yeah, and also in the frame of Eco Battle, we started 1 year ago. We opened the project in Novodvinsk, yeah, and 2 years ago we opened the project in Northern Arctic Federal University. We have negotiations with the administration of NARFU and suggest to install the containers for recycling close to the buildings of the university. The last maybe public activity, it's not activity of ETA, not activity of Public Movement 42. It's some small group of activists decided to make the biggest sculpture from the plastic bottles in the world, and they sent the application form in a Guinness Book of Records, and they've made this sculpture, and it's consists more than 43,000 of plastic bottles, and now the activists are waiting for a response from Guinness Book of Records. Okay, it's also the experience of Arkhangelsk region, because it's really not very it's a region which always have some problems with the financial and the budget, also haven't a lot of money which they're ready to spend on the developing of separate waste collection. That's why we show this example how business and activists work together and made a really good project. In these cases, we've got three regions. It's Orenburg, Saransk, and Arkhangelsk and Severodvinsk, and show different forms of how it's possible to develop and promote the separate waste collection in Russian cities. And you can find this information in the website of Greenpeace Russia. And it's really interesting information about the volume of recycle waste. It's information about how this project was starting, etc. And if you want, you can find this in the website, or maybe wrote to me through the organization. I think can get my contacts. And the last one I want to say about the rating, and to say about Arkhangelsk in a map of Russia and other cities. That's at this year we we made a second version of the recycling rating in cities and towns with a population more than 100,000 of people. We tried to we sent the application form in administration of the city and tried to account how many container squares or places for containers have containers for recycling. And now Arkhangelsk, and when we account all this information, Arkhangelsk took 25 places, and more than 30% of Arkhangelsk citizens have opportunity to use containers for recycling. If it be very detailed, 32%. Yeah, and about the methodology of this rating, in the calculation, we fixed containers were used. They collect at least one type of recycling. It doesn't matter what kind of type, and available to residents around the whole day. Yeah, you can see it's on the last slide. If you can read in Russian. That's all. If you have questions, please ask me. Yeah, I'm finished. Thanks a lot. And if you have questions, please ask me.
Thanks for your presentation, Dmitry. And I think we now go to the expert opinion of Sarah Ray.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. Are you still sharing your screen?
We see you.
Yeah, but we see your screen.
We can't see you guys.
Can you see us now? Can you see us? Yes? Okay. Very nice.
Så.
Okay.
Så.
Har vi också någon delt screen? Okay.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, my name is Sara Rebodal. I'm the head of the Arctic Student Welfare Organization. I'm not here to talk about the plastic waste on campus, but I'm here to talk about what my organization do to minimize our carbon footprint and what we do to motivate the students to make good environmental choices. So, the Arctic Welfare Organization helps students on a daily basis with housing, food and drink, sports, childcare, and counseling. Our mission is to facilitate a safe, secure, and enjoyable environment for all the university's students. This is so they can fully concentrate on their studies and their student life and not worry about where to live or how to get by. We rent out more than 3,000 flats to students at the university. Here you see Dramsveen Panorama, our newest student house, who is constructed with environmental friendly solid timber. Building in wood instead of concrete is a good environmental choice. Wood is a renewable resource that is produced using energy from the sun. During the life of the tree, it also stores a large amount of CO2, which remains inside the material after it has been converted to homes. In addition, wood is easier to carry than concrete, which also reduces emission in the freight process. We are currently planning new student housing in our northernmost campus on Svalbard. This student house will be located in the center of Longyearbyen. And in an environmental perspective, this building will be even better than the last one. On this building project, we have hired a project manager who is in charge of making all the right green choices. He will oversee that every part of the process is done as environmental as possible. The goal is to build in a so-called passive house standard, which is the strictest standard of energy in buildings. We also have a renewable energy agreement where we only buy electricity from renewable sources. In our case, a hydroelectric power plant in Øvre Forsland, which is said to be the most beautiful power plant in Norway. I don't know that as a fact, but that's what they say. This power goes to our student houses, so students staying with us can be proud of that their energy consumption is completely climate neutral. So zero carbon footprint and a lot of good karma. Where's that? And our service personnel in Tromsø uses electric cars to get from A to B. And the charging station only charges with renewable energy. Soon, we will be able to offer our residents at Prestvannet Studentbolig, one of our student houses in Tromsø, their own charging station for electric cars. And within a year, more students' houses will follow. Samskipnaden runs more than 21 places to eat and drink at the university. And we offer students and staff a wide selection of food and drink. In order to encourage students to choose meatless options, we always have a vegetarian or a vegan alternative on our menus, and we always strive to choose locally produced food. We have also signed an agreement with Verdimat, which allows the cafes to order good quality food that would otherwise be thrown away due to the wrong look or size. Our cafes also focus on reducing food waste by planning ahead. They focus on reducing the use of disposable coffee cups, plates and cutlery, and replace all plastic packaging of food. Today, one of our coffee shops at campus is nearly plastic-free. The only thing remaining now is to change the plastic straws that you drink from, and we have found it, and it's on its way. So we're just counting the days. Our cafes and coffee shops sell a lot of coffee each and every day. We searched the numbers and found that during 2016 we sold over 500,000 coffees in disposable cups. Our disposable cups is of course made of renewable materials, but unnecessary use of disposable cups is a waste problem, so here we are. We started a campaign selling the Miljökoppen, a thermocup that keeps the coffee warm throughout the lecture and can be used again and again. To make the students use the Miljökopp, we reduced the price of coffee if they used their own thermocup or our Miljökopp. And this campaign, after launching this campaign, just within 3 weeks, we have gone up to 43% of the total sale, just after using the Miljökopp. This means up to 8,000 paper cups saved in just 3 weeks. We were very excited about that our campaign paid off, but the students love getting a more sustainable way to consume their coffee. So it was a win-win. Now, a year after, the percentage of coffee sold in these cups or the students' own cups lies about 40%. So, and that means that we have saved the environment for about 45,000 paper cups in 1 year. And we are currently working on making this number even higher. But we can do better. We have successfully changed the number on paper cups for the better, but disposable plates and cutlery are still the preferred choice for our customers. According to our numbers, over 80% choose plastic cutlery and disposable plates over porcelain. And this is okay if you want to take the food or your lunch or dinner to go, but if you're planning to sit down and eat at one of our cafes, disposables isn't necessary. So by informing the students about our numbers and the upside of making green choices, we hope to create awareness that will lead to changed behavior. And last but not least, I would like to show you our newest giveaway. This is a bag that we give to the students and our collaborators. Our Miljöpåse. This bag is meant to replace the use of plastic bags, and both within our organization and outside. For instance, our cafes use them when delivering catering, and our kindergartens hands them out to keep dirty or wet clothes in the wardrobe. All right, thank you.
Thanks for your expert opinion. And now we would like to give the floor to the representative, to the head, actually, of the Students' Association called Eco University, who is Maria Navitasari. Maria. She's just about to come. Welcome.
Okay.
And you to the other speaker, who's Echo, to the left, I think, in the bottom.
Just click.
Yeah, you can tap on it. You can click on it so you can see the PowerPoint, another PowerPoint to the left. And you are mute. So
There is no presentation down here.
Yeah, but can you log out of the presentation you're watching now?
Oh, it's okay. Give me 1 second. I'm very new to this, so.
You're doing good.
Yeah. And show. And show.
Need to tap.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now it's here. Perfect.
So to the left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you for having us here. My name is Maria. I'm the chairman of Student Union Eco University. Next, please. So our vision is to introduce the community of the university to ecological way of living, and we also introduce a separate collection of solid waste on the campus, and also to dormitory in Archangels. Next, please. So what is our direction? We have 3 working groups, waste, climate, and environmental education. Next. So right now, our university, Northern Arctic Federal University, we are right now in the list of Green University of Russia. And not long time ago, we won the 3rd position of the greenest university in Russia. Next. So we do also eco education in the school in Archangels. Next. And also eco action, we tell the people how they can separate their waste and how to live eco-friendly. Next. And not long time ago, our activists, there is Maxim and Slava, they went to Sochi in order to participate in World Festival of Youth and Students, and they meet also a lot of people who also cares in environmental, and they were in the environmental section in this festival. Next. And we also several times organized the event in food waste. Not long time ago in October last year, we organized the food sharing event. Next. It's called Food Sharing Cast, so people can bring their food and they can share while they are listening to live music. Next. And we also several times organize demonstration against climate change. So we want to say what is climate change, why we need to care in climate change. So, and last year, in the first time in Archangels, we organized the climate conference, Model COP23, that is held in Bonn, but we made it in Archangels. Okay, next. And right now we are running the projects Monday No Meat in order to raising the careless of eco footprints. Right now, every Monday, our activists, they are not eating meat. Next. And not long time ago, we won also the amazing race from Green Association of Russia, and we got 3rd position in this competition. It's Water of Russia. And we organize also recycle waste in some events. It's this event is one of the biggest forum in our university. It's called Belamorsky Student Forum, and we organize the waste recycle there. Next. Thank you very much. It's the picture of our activists. We always have meeting every 2 weeks. So next week we will have events. So if anybody for you who watching us in your house or in your dormitory, just come to our events and our meeting next week. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Maria. And I think we now move into one of our closest colleagues in this field, in the field of students activism in the field of ecology, who is Ingrid.
Yes.
Yeah, with a short presentation over activities of Spire in University of Tromsø.
Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Can you yes, you can see the slides. Okay, so now I'll just talk briefly about what we in Spiritonsa is doing. Some of you know what we're doing already, but I will just show you some of the things we've done the past year by showing some pictures. And yeah, so who we are and what we are doing. And for those of you who don't know, it's like approximately there. Yeah. So we have social events with a twist where we meet up at local bars mainly, where we talk about plastic waste, climate, other things that we are interested in, and have fun, share opinions, and yeah, make sure that we're just like socially and having fun together. We're also having dinners together, fermenting courses, and it sometimes get a bit messy, but it's a lot of fun, and we learn a lot. We are beach cleaning at the Strandryddedagen, which is a national beach cleaning day. This year it's the 5th of May, which we are looking forward to, and hopefully the snow will also be not as much as now. It will help us a bit. And we've also been contributing to a research project such as OSPAR, which is more like European collaboration of marine pollution. We have also been on trips. This one was to Gåsa, which is a tiny island outside of Tromsø, which was very, very nice. We had discussions about circular economy and how to solve our future problems. It was in a collaboration with other organizations, and we also cleaned the beaches there and had a lot of fun together. And there was all people of all ages, both young kids, families, and elder people. So it was a lot of fun. One of our recent main topics has been the zero waste, where we have been doing challenges on social media and competitions. And the goal of this is not necessarily to say that everyone has to live zero waste, but it's to sort of encourage people to be more aware of the amount of waste they produce, and also, yeah, just that there's a lot you can reduce yourself just by taking easy measures. And it's also a lot of fun to share opinions and share ideas. This is also some of the things we've done a lot. We've had swap nights, a bit like the, I guess it's a bit similar to the book and swap things that the guy from Greenpeace was talking about. But we are meeting up in Cirka, which is a cafe or a bar in town, and we encourage people to come with clothes or books or other things, and they can give it to us if they don't want it anymore, and in return they can take something that someone else has left. So it's a very nice thing to do if you maybe, like, your jeans are maybe perfectly fine already, but you kind of want to have a dress. And the next one is 16th of April, if anyone wants to join us. We have also been growing vegetables at Holt, which is a very nice activity, and it's also teaching us quite a lot about how to produce food, and it's socially fun, and we get to meet a lot of people who are not necessarily students as well. It's families, it's people who are working, and it's a lot of fun and very informative. And this is just a couple of the things we're doing. And we have also been having an environmental demonstration against oil drill in the Barents Ocean, Barents Sea. We've been standing on stands to promote promote plastic in the ocean, but not promote it, to reduce it, which was a lot of fun. And now we're launching a campaign which is called Kvinnekamp. Is climate cat. Okay, how do we say this in English? Fighting action against climate is action for women. Yeah, it's a bit like equality and climate together, and seeing how those two things are interlinked. And it's a very, very interesting topic, and we will have some seminars about this throughout the spring. So we hope that will be a lot of fun.
we have also been we've also been having some other events, which is a lot of fun. And thank you for your time. And if anyone wants to know anything more, speak to us afterwards. Send us an email or on Facebook and anything. We're just happy to see that everyone else is engaged with this.
Thank you, our students and environmental colleagues. And I think now we switch into the next speaker, who is Anastasia Sazenova, representatives of Norwegian Barents Secretariat in Arkhangelsk.
Thank you, Maxim. And I would like, first of all, to thank the organizers of the webinar and the speakers, the organizers for inviting me for this very interesting arrangement, and the speakers for inspiring and really important speeches. What we are talking today about is environmental pollution and waste management, and these problems, they do not really have borders, I mean geographical borders. They are relevant for all the countries, for all the people, for both Russia and Norway. I speak about Russia and Norway because I represent the Norwegian Barents Secretariat, which supports Norwegian-Russian projects. Next, please. This is the this is the Barents region, just to remind you about where it is located. Next, please.
Next.
The headquarters of the Norwegian Barents Secretariat is located in Kirkenes, Finnmark County, northern Norway, but we also have offices in Russia, 3 offices in Murmansk, Arkhangelsk, and Naryan-Mar. We have 2 people in Murmansk, 1 person in Naryan-Mar, and 3 people in Arkhangelsk. That is me, my colleague Yulia Ardanova, and our boss Andrei Shalov, who is also known to some of you, I think, as the honorary consul of Norway to Arkhangelsk. Next, please. The Norwegian Barents Secretariat every year allocates around 80 million Norwegian kroners for bilateral projects. And the numbers of the projects is about 300-400 every year. And these projects involve more than 40,000 participants from the Barents region. Next, please. Behind all the project ideas, there are people, living people, individual people, and their main goal for supporting the projects is to promote and to facilitate people-to-people cooperation. That is what we are doing. Anyone can be a project participant, whether it is an individual person or a company, a business unit, a municipality, an association, an NGO. That does not depend on the legal status of the applicant, of the project participant. Next, please. Here is the list of priority sectors that we support. Among them, there are medical care, culture, youth, indigenous people, business, sport, education, environment, civil society, and mass media, to enumerate just some of them. Next, please. Here are the priorities, statistics from 2016, but it did not actually change a little if we look at 2017. These are, here you can see the distribution of projects. Most of them are from the cultural sector, then comes education, and then business, youth, indigenous people, sports, mass media and civil society, and environment takes the last position. If we cannot see, but it's 0.8% out of total number of projects that we support. Of course, that shows us there is a lot that can be done within environmental sector, and that's actually opens a lot of opportunities for you. Next, please. If we take the Arkhangelsk region, we have annually around 60-70 projects every year. I mean, the projects where Arkhangelsk region is involved. And the main sectors are culture, sports, medicine, healthcare, education, environment, and indigenous peoples, which is mostly implemented in the Nenets autonomous area. Next, please. There are certain formal criteria that a project idea has to meet if you want to get support, financial support from the Norwegian Barents Secretariat. I will enumerate the most important ones. The project participants should be from Norway and Russia. There should be a Norwegian and a Russian partner, at least. The application is always made by the Norwegian partner. The Norwegian partner is the applicant, and he gets the grant money if the project is supported. The project has to be implemented on the territory of the Barents region. Next, please. The Barents Secretariat never finances 100% of the budget, of the project budget. The maximum possible financing is 70%, and 30% should be in the form of contribution from the applicants. And this co-financing does not necessarily have to be in the form of physical money. Next, please. What do you have to do if you want to get financial support? First of all, you develop a project idea, then you find, you search for a partner. If you are in Russia, you are looking for a partner in Norway, and vice versa. Then you discuss the project idea, you develop project description, and you develop project budget. You make calculations, necessary calculations. Then you apply for project financing, and if it is supported, you actually implement the project. Afterwards, you have to report on the project and on the money that you have used. Our offices in Russia, we provide any possible assistance and advice, and provide all the information that you need on all the stages of the project implementation, beginning from the project idea up to reporting. So if you have questions, you are always welcome to ask. Yes, next, please. What you can get money for traveling, for accommodation and meals, for interpretation, project administration, rent of venues, and equipment which is needed for project implementation. Next, please. What cannot be supported, that is creation of web pages, filming, printing of information materials, charity and humanitarian aid, research, establishment of a legal company in Russia or in Norway, and you cannot get money for some expenses that you have already had. Next, please. The budget has no limitations actually, but if your budget is below 40,000 Norwegian kroner, you can apply anytime, and every 4 or 6 weeks we have a project meeting in Kirkenes where all the applications are considered and decision is made. If your budget is more than 400,000 Norwegian kroner, then you have 2 deadlines on the 1st of October and the 1st of March. And these applications are considered by the board of the Norwegian Barents Secretariat. Next, please. You need to apply on our application portal, and you can get 75% advance payment if the project is approved. The 25% you can get the rest money after you report on the project. Next, please. I just want to say a few words about the environmental projects, which is relevant for today's meeting. In 2017, I've brought some statistics for you. In 2017, we have supported 12 projects within this sector, environment. And total volume of financing was more than 3 million Norwegian kroner. These were very different projects with different budgets, from 32,000 up to nearly a million Norwegian kroner. And the applicants were mostly from Troms County. There were 9 of them, and 2 from Finnmark, 1 from Nordland. And in some of these 12 projects, Arkhangelsk region was also involved. Next, please. Here you can see some of the project ideas for environmental projects, but of course, this list cannot be limited. You are welcome to initiate new ideas, and we shall do our best to help you with implementation. We hope to be useful and helpful in this very important process. And the next two slides give our contact info. You can follow us on Facebook and Vkontakte. We have an official webpage, barents.nl. And the next webpage is actually our contact information in Arkhangelsk. You are welcome to come to our office and ask any questions you have related to financing of Russian-Norwegian projects. Thank you. I tried to be as short as possible.
Wonderful. Thanks, Anastasia. And just before we get to the conclusions, I would like to tell you that we are just about probably to have a fire drills within the university campus. So probably during the discussion we might be out. But if we are out, I think we then gonna go on our discussion with offline. I mean, after all. I would like to take a look at the resolution of the webinar, and if anybody of you has any edits or would like to change it somehow, delete a part of it or add something to it, you're welcome to express your opinions on that. Ingrid?
What should we just show it? Or should we discuss it here ourselves?
Well, we are going to show it in case you have any changes to it, any edits to it, you're welcome to express your opinions on that. But if it's okay, we're just gonna keep it the way it is.
Yes, we can go through it, and we can also have a little discussion afterwards, so everyone can be able to read through, and then we'll get back to you with the changes after we've all read through it properly.
Yes, wonderful.
Can we also ask you to translate the PowerPoint presentation to English, so you can send them all to us, and we can be able to read them?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so coming to actually the proposals of the webinar, there are three main points which we would like to stress out. It's the recommendation for our students association to continue our close cooperation and for the goals of increasing of public awareness within the field of separate collection of waste in Arkhangelsk and in Tromsø. And moreover, to implement some of our joint projects in the field of sustainable development, especially in the Barents region. As we have learned from the previous speaker, we do have some grant support for this field from the Norwegian Barents Secretariat, as well as other organizations and probably universities. So I hope you do support this idea.
Yes, yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So the next 2 points are actually the proposal to the administrations of our universities for making some kind of youth environmental council where we could discuss the best sustainable practices within the university campus, and probably for strengthening of the cooperation between the universities, especially within the year of 25th anniversary of our cooperation. And moreover to that, the Vice Rector of Northern Arctic Federal Universities proposed the idea of adding some points on not only creation of the Council of Youth Environmental Organizations, but also probably increasing the number of researchers, of joint researchers between researchers in Tromsø and Arkhangelsk in the field of environment, in the field of ecology, and especially in the field of recycling, sorting out wastes.
Yes, this will be sent to our representatives because they had to go early, so they're no longer here. But we're to send it to them and get their opinion on it.
Yes, wonderful. After all, I'm going to make some additions to the resolution. I will send it to you.
Yes, perfect.
Wonderful. And the last proposal is the offer for the municipalities of both cities to making a sort of a joint group for exchange of practice. And I think we're going to just send this idea to them after the webinar and have their feedback as an exchange.
That sounds good.
Yeah, wonderful. So do you have any questions for the resolution now?
No.
Wonderful. So I think we could discuss it later if there's question. So it was wonderful to have all of you during this webinar. Thanks for organizing it. It was a little difficult, but this is the first time, so now we'll have more practice with doing such kind of things. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Отключай. Отключай.